We've already gone over one combined arms list for humans, but now we're going to go and look into the elves. Use that infantry, melee infantry to kind of hold the line, and then that ranged infantry to just pepper down the opponent, and it'll make it easier for that melee infantry to take them down. So I'm here, your host, Greyhammer, and let me know if you like this type of content through either your comments, likes, or even if you really enjoy it, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. But let's get right into it. We're using Dread Spears and Dark Shards, and let's get straight into the list. So the assassin's going to lead the army as general. He's very cheap. 2 units of 20 Dread Spears are going to be your kind of melee infantry, hold the line characters. And then 2 units of Dark Shards, 1 unit of 20, and 1 unit of 10 to bring those crossbow bolts straight into the enemy. This brings the list to 980 points. So this is a 1,000 point list. Let me know in the comments if you want to see this brought to 2,000 points. All of the officer's orders are going to be actually somewhat effective here, though some are going to shine over the others. Advance in formation allows you to get that extra 3-inch movement phase move, and that's going to be kind of useful. It's not going to be the most useful, but just reposition a little bit and could be helpful. Hold the line's the next one. It's more focused on dwarves, but, you know, getting a strike last but a ward of 5 up is a pretty useful one. So a 5-up ward on those Dread Spears could make them hold the line a little bit better, and can be pretty useful. Strike them down is kind of the one you think about when you think of elves. You can add one to the attacks characteristic of their melee weapons, and add one to hit rolls since they're elves. So that's pretty useful in the charge phase. They do have to charge, however, and this is a pretty defensive one, so it's less focused on that strike them down, but it'll still work. Suppressing fire is the one that I think is probably the most useful in this list, and that's to pick one of your shooting characters, and when they use the shoot ability in the shooting phase, if they target the same enemy unit with all of their attacks, you then roll a dice. If it's equal to or less than the number of models in the enemy unit that were slain, they get strike last. So it's going to really make it so that you're you can really negate some of the opponent's melee if you can get some extra attacks in before they can. Faith and Firepower is another one. Is you're taking this for your whole army, and it's just going to increase 3 inches to the range of your ranged weapons, making that 15-inch range a 18-inch range, which puts it much more in the realm of regular shooting attacks. And then your assassin's going to take Master of Ballistics, which is going to mean when he gives the all-out attack in the shooting phase, you add 1 to wound roll in addition to the +1 to hit, so that's going to make their shooting much more reliable. Very useful. Then I can't say this because I always get it wrong, but this artifact allows you to return up to D3 slain models to the unit at the end of any turn. So they can't be in combat and they have to be holier than 12 of this unit, but it could be yours or your opponent's turn, so it can be very useful to keep those troops in tip-top condition. Assassin. This is kind of he's really, though he's your general, he's kind of just there to be a pretty safe character to provide some buffs. He has 5 health, 6-inch move, 5-up save, control 2, so not durable. He does have poison-coated blades, which is 6 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, rend 1, 2 damage. He has rend 2 against heroes, and he does have crit mortals, so he can technically do 12 damage, but unlikely to do that much damage. While he is within the combat range of a friendly infantry unit that has 5 or more models, and this unit is not in combat, he's not visible, so that does help him a little bit to stay out of enemy shooting, and then in for the kill. If he charges, he gets strike first, basically, which can be pretty useful. Your Dread Spears are your kind of baseline infantry. They're 1 health apiece, 6-inch move, 4-up save, control 1, so not the worst save in the world. They have 2 attacks apiece, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, and 1 damage. They do get a rend if they're attacking something that charged, so if you're playing defensive, you do get a little bit more attacking power. And if they did not charge, they get 1 to wound. So you can get them to a 3s. And if you do, well, you can't stack all. Yeah, you could do all out attack and get 2s and 3s. So you can actually make them somewhat useful and able to do a little bit of damage there. And then for our dart shards, which are probably going to be the majority of your damage, you've got 1 health apiece, 6-inch move, 5 up save, control 1. That mastercrafted repeater crossbow is a 15-inch range, 2 attacks apiece, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, 1 damage, but against infantry they do get rend. And then in melee it's 1 attack, 3s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. So just a reminder that if you do all-out attack on them, you will be able to do the 2s to hit and 3s to wound, which is going to be nice. And if they have not used a move ability this turn and was not set up, so not the first battle round, you can add 1 to the attacks characteristic of their repeater crossbows for the rest of the turn. So basically, if they didn't move, you're going to get 3 attacks apiece instead of 2 attacks apiece, which can be pretty useful. This is going to let you bring in a lot of additional shots and just going to be just generally a good shooting ability. So let's get straight into tactics. This is going to be a pretty short episode, I believe. But your assassin's going to be able to bring back those infantry models and buff your units, along with being a sort of anti-hero character in a pinch. So he can take out enemy wizards if that's what your opponent has brought along. I wouldn't trust him against any like dedicated melee hero, but against kind of weaker characters, he shines pretty well. And he's only 90 points. Tread Spears can act as that really tough defensive line. They only have a 4-up save, but you could give them that 5-up ward and makes them significantly more defensive. And if they're attacking something that has charge, they do get some significant buffs. And that's going to, because you have so many of those Dread Spears, that is going to allow your Dark Shards a lot more opportunities to just kind of fire into the opponent, which is going to weaken them before the Dread Spears can hopefully finish them off. Ideally, you don't want to be in too long of a combat because those Dread Spears are buffed kind of in the first round of combat, but the Dark Shards can kind of whittle them down along with the Dread Spears. So that can definitely be something very useful. But yeah, this is going to be a short one. Let me know how you like this list. I think it's pretty good. I don't think there's anything crazy about it. We're going to go into a dwarf variety of this next week, and I think that will be interesting as well. You can get very, very tough units and some pretty good shooting with it as well. But let me know in the comments what you think about this list. Go ahead and like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notifications to get notified when my videos go out. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.